welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the brand new Fae Farm, and this released for both the Nintendo Switch and PC. Full disclosure, I did get this game as a review and I did play the PC version, although I will be talking about the Switch version later in the video. Now, if you don't know what Fae Farm is, it is the latest of the many cozy games now available on the Switch. And this is a little bit different because it takes sort of the fairy aesthetic, mixes it with the farm aesthetic, and you know, it works. This is a pretty good game. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of the different mechanics in this game, my pros, my cons, do I like this game, and the biggest question, is it worth $60? Because yes, this little indie farming game is a full price. Let's get into it. So starting off, and something that's really important to me is the character customization and creation. And I'm happy to report that this game does a great job of giving you tons of options at the beginning to create your own character. You can choose from different eyes, noses, mouths, you know, the typical things, hairstyles. There are many inclusive hairstyles. You can choose your pronouns too. And I really like this character creator because it uses sort of kind of like a color wheel. You know, some games have like 4 different colors that you can choose from for like hair options. This one has a ton and like weird colors too, you know, so I think everyone is going to look unique in that regard. So we're already off to a good start. Okay. Now heading into the game, and I will say that the first couple hours of this game are very tutorial heavy. However, the game does a pretty good job at hiding the fact that they're like teaching you how to play this game. I don't think necessarily that all of this was needed. I feel like the game is pretty simplistic. You know, if you are used to these games, the Story of Seasons, the Rune Factories, I think you'll pick this up pretty quickly. But the game does a good job, again, of like hiding the fact that you're learning. So when it's time to learn how to fish, you will be sent to the fisherman NPC. Same thing with bug catching. You'll be sent to the bug catching NPC. Growing flowers, crops, you kind of get it. All right, so heading to the basic mechanics, and let's just talk about it. Let's talk about farming, okay? Farming, I mean, it's a big part of this game. It's a big way to make money in this game. And I really like something that this game does. I don't know if they even gave it a name, but I'm going to call it like simplistic tools, okay? So, you know, in a lot of farming games, you have to switch to like your hoe or your watering can or other tools. This game kind of simplifies that. So you still have to switch to like your bug catching net and your fishing rod, but everything else is all in one. And what I mean by that is the game knows what you want to do, and it does it pretty well. So for example, if you want to chop wood, you just walk up to a tree and press the action button, and the game will know, okay, the player is near a tree. They want to cut down and get some wood. So that's really cool. And in the same vein, once you're done cutting that tree, you walk over to a rock, you hit the action button. The game knows that you want to hit the rock with your pickaxe. Same thing with farming. So you have to craft your soil plots. And then when you walk up to the soil and you have seeds, you just hit the action button again. The game knows, hey, this player has seeds, time to plant. Then when all the seeds are planted, you go over and you hit the action button again, and what happens? You water them. I really, really like this. I hope more farming games sort of steal this idea. Listen, there's no shame. Let's steal this idea. I like it. Besides farming, you can do your normal foraging things, I guess. Cutting weeds, getting the fibers from that, cutting down trees, hitting rocks, collecting berries, collecting flowers, things like that. You can also take care of animals in this game. And pretty basic to a lot of other farming games. You have your cows, you have your chickens. What else do you have? You have your sheep, bunnies, things like that. They do take on sort of a fantasy sort of aesthetic though. So like cows don't really look like your normal cows. They're kind of like, you know, fluffy and I don't know. It looks like a fantasy cow. I don't know. And like you would expect, you got to take care of the animals. You got to feed them. The sheep, you need to take their wool. Chickens lay eggs. Cows, you can milk them. We all know this, but it just does it well. I have no complaints on taking care of animals. You can also fish in this game too, and fishing is always important in these types of games. I will say that the fishing in this is a little bit more involved than some other games. compared to other games where you just kind of like see a shadow, you throw your fishing rod in there, you hit A, you get a fish, everyone cheers. This one is a little different. So you still have to look for shadows. You throw your fishing, you use your fishing rod. I don't know what I'm saying. Use your fishing rod, and then the fish has to see the bait. When the fish latches on, you reel it in. Might sound basic, but it does kind of turn away, and then you have to let go of the reel, and then when it turns back to you, you have to reel it in again. So catching fish is a little bit more of a fight than I'm used to. I find it fun though. It kind of goes on the more realistic side of fishing. Bug catching is pretty simple. You go up to a bug, you hit the action button, and you catch a bug. Although some types of creatures like frogs and different like faster bugs, you have to creep up on. So you kind of have to like sneak up on them because they will run away. So, you know, that's something. And all of these things serve a purpose. So for example, the milk that you get from a cow, you can turn that into butter or cheese, you know, or the eggs that you get from chickens you can cook with. The wool that you get from sheep, you can turn into clothing or other sort of items. Same thing with even bugs. I mean, you can sell things as raw materials, but you know, you can catch a frog, put it in one of your makers, and you get bug juice or something. Like, that's literally what it's called. You get bug juice, or you get fairy dust if you repurpose your butterflies. So I feel like that part of the game was really fun for me, just experimenting on what I could turn this raw material into. So that was kind of cool. You can also upgrade your tools as well. Pretty similar to other farming games where you upgrade your tool to a copper version, then you upgrade your tool to the iron version, and it keeps going up from there. The cool thing about this though is when you get your tool to the iron version, you unlock a magical ability. So for the watering can, once you get the iron watering can, you can actually charge it up. It uses some of your magic. You have like a little magic meter, but if you charge up the watering can, you can actually water a bigger area of crops. And every tool does this. So the pickaxe, you can charge it up, use a little bit of your magic, and hit like 5 or 6 stones at a time instead of just one. You also have a weapon as well, which we'll get to in a second, but you can charge that up and do like a spin attack. So there are reasons to upgrade all of your tools just to see the magical abilities alone. And let me tell you, the game definitely speeds up after you upgrade your tools. Now, I did talk about combat a little bit, and there are mines in this game. So I would compare the mines in this game similar to like Stardew. So when you go in the mines, there's floors, right? So I think there are 4 different dungeons or mines. I forgot what they called them. The first dungeon had 25 floors, and it was a part of a quest. It was a part of a storyline. So basically what you do is you can hit rocks, you can fight enemies in there, and how you go to the next level is that you hit a bunch of rocks and it will uncover a little gold square switch. Once you step on that switch, the door unlocks to go to the next door. I found the dungeons to be okay. They looked very samey to me. But there are some pretty cool materials in there, like gemstones and things like that. So you are definitely going to want to go through the dungeons. It's a great way to make money. All right, let's talk about the town and the people of the town. Obviously, in these games, you can romance people. So romance options are in this game. At the time of this recording anyway, because I don't know if they're going to add more via updates or DLC, there are 6 marriage candidates. And I will say this is kind of where the game falls flat for me. I do think that they're a little stale. The characters are a little stale. I love how they look, but they're just a little bit stale. So basically you take items, you can gift these NPCs, you could do the marriage candidate like quests and things like that. And again, it's just not as deep as other games. It is there though, which is good. There is also a town, like a town center, and there are a bunch of NPCs that have shops. Unfortunately, you can't romance any of the shopkeepers. And the thing that I don't like about this, I don't know how you guys are going to feel, because on one side of it, it's good, and then the other side, it's bad. So basically, the shopkeepers stay open all day. Like, they are always open. That's good, right? Because, like, it's convenient. You know, if you ever want to buy clothing at 2 in the morning, you can do it. Well, technically you can't because the day ends at midnight. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you ever wanted to buy some flower seeds at 11 at night, you can do it. However, because of that, it feels very lifeless because the NPCs don't move, they don't walk around, and it makes the game feel a little empty. The 6 marriage candidates that you can romance, they walk around and you'll see them walking around through the world and the town. But the shopkeepers, like if you swap them out for like a vending machine, you know, I really wouldn't notice because they're flat. And it's a shame too, because the character designs are so great, but yeah, they just kind of sit there and do their own thing. There are also different festivals in the game too. So for example, the first month, which is spring, there was a festival at the very end of the month. And basically what it was, and I think this is true for all of the festivals, a shop opens in Town Hall. And basically what happens is you go in there and there's a seasonal shop. This is good. This is again, good and bad because I love seasonal items and I'm very excited to see what the fall items are because I'm a huge fan of fall. But the shop was cool. The only thing was I didn't realize that that's what the festivals were. So when the festival happened and the seasonal shop was open, I was broke. So I couldn't really buy a ton of stuff, which kind of made it like, I don't know, it kind of got me upset because I was looking forward to the festival all month, basically. There was like 28 days and I really couldn't celebrate it by buying things because I didn't know. All right, let's talk about another huge thing, and I love this in games, is the decorating. So this is a huge plus. You can decorate your house, you can decorate the outside of your farm, you find recipes all scattered throughout the world. And again, you can use the materials that you've repurposed, like if you cut down wood, you can repurpose that to lumber, and then you can craft with that. There are a decent amount of items that you can use to customize your house and your farm. And when you unlock the livestock, when you take care of animals, you actually unlock another farm and another house that you can decorate. I will say there are good and bad things about decorating. One good thing is that you can repurpose anything that you place. So for example, if I craft a stool and I put the stool down and I'm like, you know what? I actually don't like that. I can go up to the stool and repurpose that and get all the materials that I used to make that back. So that's very cool for like experimenting and things like that. So for example, I put up a fence originally and I was like, you know what? I don't really like that fence. So I took it completely down and got all the materials back for it. There is a major problem with decorating though. I don't know if this could be fixed via update or something, but there's no layering in the decorating. And what I mean by that is, so if I craft a table, I can't place anything on that table. There's no layering of items, which I feel like is a huge missed opportunity. So I would have loved to create like a little stool or something and then put like a little potted plant on it, like, you know, for an outdoor decoration or something. Can't do that. I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if this was planned, but yeah, you can't layer or decorate in this game. Real quick, there is multiplayer in this game. You can actually play it with 3 other players and you can do just about everything. You can go in the dungeons together. I was not able to try this feature, but I know from close friends that multiplayer in Fae Farm is seamless, so I'm very excited to try it out. So what are my final thoughts about Fae Farm? Is it worth the $60? Yes. I don't seem too sure on that answer. So what I will say is that the game itself is built very, very well. The quality, like play this game for 30 minutes and you will realize the type of quality you're dealing with. The animations are on point. The graphics, I know art is subjective. I absolutely love the graphics in this game. There's dynamic weather, things like that. There are some things that I don't like. The NPCs, the town feel, it feels very like stiff and just not exciting. But the storyline is great. I didn't want to spoil any of that. The storyline is great. I feel like the day-to-day activities, they do have some depth to them. Like I said before, like fishing, you know, you have that little mini game, bug catching, you kind of have to creep up on the bugs, and then you could pretty much repurpose anything to craft even more things. The decorating, although basic, works, and I think a lot of people are going to like the items. I do think this game is worth the $60. You have to realize that that $60 actually comes with 2 DLC updates. So you're paying for the base game, but you're also paying for the future content coming to this game that developers are going to add. The PC version does have a $40 base price, and then you can get the extra DLC for an additional $20. I will say this is worth it though. There was a lot of love and care put into this game, and although I played the PC version, I can confirm that the Switch version shares that same level of quality. The graphics are there, the performance is there, and honestly, you know, the Nintendo Switch isn't the best in terms of raw power, so the fact that the developers took time to optimize this game, huge plus. Now, you could wait for it to go on sale, and many people might do that, but I feel like this type of game has a lot of hype around it, and this is the type of game that I want to get in on the ground floor. You know, I want to get in with the community and really experience this with them. I feel like I've waited on some games before because of the price, and then went back, tried to play it, and no one was playing it. I do think that this game has hundreds of hours to it. I really do think that the value is there. But it's gonna be pretty divisive. You know, usually games in this genre are around 20 to 30, and I do think that if this game was 40, it'd be a no-brainer. 60, you kind of have to think about it. Like, even the big boys, you know, Story of Seasons, Harvest Moon, they're not even 60. So, I don't know. It's a lot of confidence in the developer, and I gotta say, my time playing it, I think it's worth it. I think it's good. Let me know what you think in the comments. Will you be picking up Fae Farm? Have you been playing Fae Farm? Let me know. Let me know. Did I miss anything? No, I covered the bug juice. Yeah, I got everything. Yeah, it's a good game.